Hello everyone, I'm Mark the Moose and welcome back for another Minecraft tutorial. This time I'm going to be looking at my top 6 starter farms that will benefit absolutely everyone. Okay, so the first one we're going to look at has got to be the cow farm. It's been about for quite a while now, ever since Entity Cramming was brought in. This was the first farm that I can remember seeing. The mechanics are the same as they have been for a good few years now. There's 24 cows that are inside here. If we come around the back, we can have a little look, put a glass block down here so you can see inside. All there is just little water source blocks inside there. That keeps the cows bobbing up and down. And like I say, there's 24 of them in there. This post stops them from coming out and stops you from going in because there's no way to get out once you're in there. And it is literally just a case of spam clicking, getting the cows to breed up. And as the babies are born, one of the adults dies. They always take the adults over any of the calves. So if we have a look at it now, you can see they go 23 raw beef and 9 leather that's come out so far. That's just from one little touch on there. So let's just go straight on with the build. We're going to start off this build just by putting a hopper feeding into the top of a chest. We're going to put a temporary block on here, and then really it is just a case of putting 2 blocks up on either side. You then come in, take this block out on the bottom here, put a water source block in, and we get a fence post. And put it over the top like that. You then get the cows in the same as we've done over there, and that's the farm complete. Now you can change it about a little bit if you want to, and I'll show you how to do that just now. We're just going to take that water block out the bottom there. We are going to put a temporary block back here a second. We're going to come in here and put a dispenser in here. We're then going to come out and put a observer with the poles facing downwards on there. We're then going to put a pressure plate on top, and we're then going to put a water bucket into the dispenser. So now when you put the fence on, first of all, you don't have to have it there. You can have it there if you want to instead, or down there. It doesn't really make a lot of difference. Either way, it stops you from falling in. That's the most important thing. As soon as you land on this, the water source comes out. As soon as you come off of it, the water source goes back in again. Now with the cows, basically it stops them from bobbing about all over the place like you've got it over there. You can see them here as they're going in, everything's absolutely fine. They're all staying relatively low down, and we'll be getting towards Entity Cramming soon. There we go, that's up to 25 now. So if we come down to the bottom here, you'll see that you've got the stake that's been put in there from him dying. If we get some wheat, we can then come across, we can see this thing working, stand at the top here, see the water, makes them shoot up like this. You can then just stand here, just spam click him, feed them with wheat. They're down there making their babies on there, and due to Entity Cramming, the adults are then dying, just leaving the babies behind. So we come off of there, you'll see them, they'll all shrink back down again because the water's now gone back inside. You come down to the bottom here, you can see all the extra steak that we've got at the bottom there, and the leather that's coming through as well. So that's the end of that farm. Next up, we've got the wool farm. This is one of my favourite farms. Each time I've got a big build that's coming up, I always use either black and white wool to mark out the area where I'm going to be, where I'm planning the build or where it's going to be going. This is essential for that. Basically, all it does is in the back here we have got some shears, and each time the sheep eats on this block here, there's an observer just underneath it. That sends the signal through here, fires through. The shears get shot out, shears the sheep, and it goes straight back in again. It's a very simple farm, it's very effective, and like I say, it's by far one of my favourite farms. So let's see how we build it. We're just going to run a hopper into the back of this chest. I'm going to put a rail on top, with a minecart, the hopper on. We are going to quickly just build this up around the outside here, just to hold the hopper minecart in place. I put a block of glass on top there, which will stop it from being able to move anywhere else other than where we want it to be. At the back here, we are going to have an observer that is going to be facing into this block with a grass block on top. This is where the sheep's going to be standing on. Each time the sheep eats from here, it's going to update the observer, which is going to send the pulse up that we'll see in a second. So it's really important to make sure that we have some grass blocks to the side of this with some glass on the top. Basically what happens is once this block has been turned into just a dirt block, it needs to be able to turn back into grass, and it can't do that unless it's got a grass block that's touching it. So by having these ones at the side, that enables that to happen. So the sheep's going to be standing just in here, and we need to have the dispenser that's going to be shooting out for the shears from the back, which we'll just put in there now. A bit further around here, we're going to have a redstone dust on top of this block here. So basically what's going to happen is once the sheep starts eating in there, that will turn to dirt. That updates the block, which triggers off the observer. That will then update the redstone, which in turn will update it will fire off the dispenser. It will shoot the shears out, shear the sheep, and then bring them back in again. So now we just need to put some glass on top there. Pop that block on top of there, and that is, I think, the farm now done. Just quickly check this. Put the sheep in down the bottom there. So as soon as the sheep decides it's going to eat, that will then update the farm. There we go. See, it got sheared. The hopper minecart has sucked it straight through from the block there, and the balls appeared in the chest down the bottom here. Absolutely perfect. On to the next one. I have to be honest, I absolutely love designing this farm. There's a lot of other chicken farms that are out there, but for me, this is by far the best that there is. It's lossless. It speaks for itself. For me, it's a perfect farm. It's very, very simple. What happens is the chickens that are in here, they lay eggs that go into these hoppers. Just on the inside there, there's a dispenser. The eggs that go into that dispenser, once they're in there, the comparator picks up the signal from there, activates a sticky piston, which pushes this observer up, and this bounces backwards and forwards from this observer, which is constantly sending pulses into this block, which come down into the dispenser, which shoots out all of the eggs. So what we're going to do now is I'm actually going to load the whole thing up. It's going to make a little bit of noise, so I do apologise. And we're just going to let them shoot straight through on there. Nothing gets left behind. It can take it down, so there's only one stack that's left in there. It always pulls through right to the last one. So we'll go and have a look around the front in a minute. Once these eggs are cleared through from there, obviously that will stop at the back. As you can see, the little chicks are sitting in here. As soon as they grow up, their head touches the lava, they get killed. Come down here into, there's a hopper that we can't see. Underneath there's a minecart hopper that feeds straight through into this and straight through into here. So, yep, every single one of those that are in there, once they turn into a chicken, they will 100% end up in this chest down here as cooked chicken. Let's go and see how it's built. We're going to start off by putting a hopper running to the back of this chest, a rail on top with a minecart with a hopper on top of that. And take the rail out from underneath, put a block at the back here, here, bring it around the side on either side. A dispenser is going to go on top, and we're then going to shift click a sand block against it, which is going to fall down and lock the hopper in place for us, minecart in place for us, sorry. We're going to put a half slab down on here. Then round at the back, we are going to put a block down here, get a redstone comparator, and that's going to go here. That's going to be leading into a sticky piston with a forward facing observer, and next that'll be observer facing the other way. We're going to have a block on top of that, which is going to power down into this dispenser here. I'm going to build this up a little bit on either side there. We're now going to run a hopper into the dispenser with another hopper sitting next to it. This is where the chickens are going to be standing, and we need to make sure that we're building up this area on here by 2 blocks. Now we can't put anything on top of this block here though, so we just need to make sure that we are putting the blocks around the outside like that instead. Okay, so around at the front now, we're going to need to make sure we've got a lava bucket and our glass blocks that are sitting there. We are going to put our glass blocks down first, so lava doesn't go flying everywhere. We're going to put a lava source block in that there. You see there's half a block's gap in between. And what's going to happen is, as the chickens are around the side here, when they start laying their eggs, they're going to go into the hoppers. From the hoppers, They're going to get carried into the dispenser. The dispenser is going to activate the comparator. The pulse from that is then going to activate the sticky piston, which is going to shoot the observer up. The observer then is going to keep bouncing backwards and forwards with this one here. A pulse from this one will come into this block and down into the dispenser, which in turn is going to shoot the egg forward, hopefully hatching it into a little chick. The little chick is only half a block tall and will sit on top of the half slab that's in there. And after a day or two, once it's grown up into a full adult, its head will touch the larva. As soon as its head touches the larva, it will die. And the hopper minecart underneath here will take everything in entirety from this block that it can and pull it down into the hopper underneath. So it will be completely lossless. There should be no issues with losing any chicken from this farm at all. Up at the top here, we need to put in a maximum of 24 chickens into either side. Now, there will be some losses with this side of things because the chickens in general, they run between either the hoppers that are on here. So if I put down, say, I don't know, 30 or 40, whatever in there, after a couple of days now, those eggs will start to come through, or tomorrow morning, sorry, the eggs will start to come through and get fired through to the front here. However, if all of these chickens decide they were going to head onto one hopper, all bar 24 of them would die. The raw chicken would be shot straight through and come out into this chest down the bottom here. Now it's just a case of putting down a couple of half slabs just to tidy this build up to make sure that one, it's spawn proof, and two, that the chickens that are here can't actually escape anywhere. But that is now the farm complete. You'll need a lot of crops when you're building up your main farms, and this is the perfect way to get them. In here, as you can see in my hotbar, I've got 1 carrot, 1 potato, and 1 lot of seeds. All I do, put the carrot down on here, it plants, and if you look at the bottom there, it's coming through in decent numbers each time. Gone to 15 now already. Do the same with potatoes, and then we do the same with the wheat. You get all the crops that you need in no time at all. And as soon as you start to get full, or some of them will overflow anyway, just pop them into the hopper beneath you here, and then they go straight down to the chest down the bottom here. So let's have a quick look and see how it works. Here we've got 3 sets of dispensers that are all shooting bone meal straight onto this block here. So each time you put a seed down, the observer at the back, it realizes there's something there. It sends a pulse out the back, which in turn fires all of these dispensers. It does it 3 times, which is just enough to turn either a carrot, potato, or this normal wheat seeds into the full crops. The sticky piston down the bottom here comes up, grabs the block, pulls it down, which of course then releases the crops from it, and then pushes it straight back up again. You then pick up the crops in your inventory, and then you just place the next one down. It really is as simple as that. Let's see how it's built. Again, we're going to start off by running the hopper into the back of the chest, put a temporary block on top here, have a block of farmland on here, 2 blocks coming off of either side. We're then going to bring this one block further back, 1 block coming off from there, and a block in the middle underneath. This is where the water is going to be getting put onto, which we'll just take care of now. On the sides over here, we're going to have a dispenser facing inwards on either side of the farmland. We're then going to have a block that's getting placed at the back of each of those, a temporary block on top there, while we get a dispenser that's going to be facing downwards. We're then going to come around the back, we're going to get the observer block, and that's going to be facing in towards the farmland that's in there as well. So it'll look something like this. We're then going to take the observer again. We're then going to have the pulse coming down out of this corner one here. We are going to have a temporary block there, which we'll take out. A block here. Another block underneath. This one then comes out. We're going to have a sticky piston that is going to be facing up in here. And then round at the side here, we're going to get some redstone dust, which is going to be here and here going into this block. We're going to have some redstone on top here and on here. Put a block in the middle here with some redstone dust up on top. We're then going to break this off by putting a block on either side here. And now this should be the farm done. To test this out, try that with the water again. To test this out, what we're going to do is we're going to get some bone meal. We're going to fill this up in here. And we're going to do the same in all 3 of these dispensers. And now it should just be a case of taking this block out of here, standing on here and placing the carrot down on there. And just like that, the bone meal gets dispensed from all three of these. This updates the back, sends the poles down, the sticky piston picks up this block and drops it back off again, and it's back up within the tick. So there you go. That works for carrots, that works for potatoes, and it works for wheat. It doesn't work for beetroot because beetroot can need up to 5 dots of bone meal to hit it before it'll actually be fully grown. So yeah, this is it now, and you can. It's not quite 0 tick, but it is very, very fast. It will fill up your double chest view really quickly, and it's really handy when you want to be trading with those villagers. So on to the next farm. Okay, this one here is probably one of the quickest farms to actually build. It's just a pumpkin farm. It's very, very simple. We've got an observer here. Let's keep an eye on the stem that's in front of it. Each time a pumpkin spawns from it, it's going to update the block, and then both of these pistons are going to shoot forward. So whichever one of these two the pumpkin lands on, it's going to break the pumpkin, and it's going to land in these hoppers and come down to this chest at the bottom here. Let's do the build. Really quick farm this time. We're going to put a hopper run to the back of this chest, one hopper on either side of it. We're going to have a dirt block here, a dirt block here, and some farmland that's in the middle. We're going to have a 3x3 platform underneath, and we're just going to take the sides up and leave a water source block in the middle. And on the back here, we're going to have some pistons that are facing forward. We're going to have the observer that's going to just click in against the side here. And then we're going to have a block of iron that we're going to put at the back here with redstone dust on either side. Now it is just a case of building the walls up around the outside of this to stop the pumpkins or melons from flying off in every which direction. And we will get the pumpkin planted down the middle, and we'll get this bone milled up, and that's that on there fully grown. That's the farm complete. Last but not least, we've got the sugarcane farm. It's a very simple farm. It produces an awful lot of resources as well though. As you can see here, we've got sugarcane at the bottom, a row of pistons, and we've got a row of observers. That's very simple. All that happens is, as soon as the sugarcane grows up one more block there to the third one, the redstone pulse around the back here gets activated, and it just pushes the sticky pistons forward, which drops all of the sugarcane down on top of itself there, and underneath we've got a hopper minecart set up that's just running backwards and forwards. That's just going to pick it up. Once it's got everything, it stops on here while it's unloading, goes into this chest, and then it gets powered back up again to go again. So let's have a look and see how we build it. With a sugarcane farm, for me, I think the trick to it is to make sure you're building it in 2 phases. You've got the collection phase of the build, which we're going to be dealing with first, and then there's the actual farm side of things that gets dealt with separately. So to start with, we'll concentrate on the collection side of things. We've got the hopper that's already run to the back of the chest here. We're then going to place down 7 blocks. From here, we're going to put 2 powered rails on at the end here, 1 powered rail at the start, and everything in between just have a normal rail put onto. From the back here, we are going to have a comparator output that we need to get from the hopper. So we do this, have the comparator on top here, which is going to lead into a block there. We're going to have a redstone torch on the back of that, a block on top of it with a redstone repeater facing forwards. Now, what we need to happen now is, as soon as this block gets put in here, this is then going to power this rail like that. So that's that first part of this done. We need to make sure that the minecart's not going to go flying off of each end. So just put a block in place on there, and now we need to power these 2 rails here, which we do just like that. We're going to run this line of blocks just down the back here, and that is now the collection side of things all sorted out. Hopper minecart goes on, it will happily run along backwards and forwards until it picks something up. Once it picks something up, it will stop on this hop here until it's emptied out, and then it will continue its journey onwards from there. So now it's time for the farm. I'm going to start off by putting the first block up on here, run this line of dirt along, not putting it over the hopper at the end here. It's going to finish at 1 block before it. I'm going to put a couple of blocks up at the end here, so we know that's the edge of the farm is. And at the back here, you can see we've already got a little line of blocks that we need to have in place. We're going to finish enclosing that by running the line of blocks across the back here, and then we're going to get our water out. once we've got the water, we're just going to fill it in all the way along here, because you can't have sugarcane growing anywhere unless it's touching water. So we need that. It's essential, really. So at the back here, our first layer is going to be just of blocks. There's going to be nothing else on there at all, so we're going to use that just to cover over the top of the water. That will stop any items from falling there in just a moment. We're now going to get the piston and the observers ready. So the pistons are going to be the next row. We're going to put this up on here, and we're going to come around the back, and then we're going to put the observers down on top of them there. Underneath this, on the back of the pistons, we're just going to have a line of blocks going right the way along, just underneath each of the observers, and then we're going to have some redstone dust that we're just going to run along these blocks as well, just like that. So now, round at the front, we're actually very nearly finished. We're just going to put a couple of blocks in place here and here, and then we're going to get some glass panes, and we're going to run them along the front here to stop any of the sugarcane from being shot off outside of the farm. So we just run that here. And here, like that. And we'll just do a little bit just to tidy this up now at the front. We get our sugarcane, we're planting in here, like this. And the farm itself is now done. Round at the back here, all you've got to do is we put down another piece of sugar on the top here, one more. You can see it pushes it off, shoots it off, hopper minecart picks it up and deposits it into the chest. And that's the sugar farm completed. You know, just looking at the 6 farms that I've got sitting behind me, it's actually made me realise how it is that everyone can be completely different in how they approach Minecraft in the early days. For me, I use the cows for food until I get enough resources to make a chicken farm. After that, the beef is only really used for trading. The crop farm, I only use that to actually trade with villagers. I don't use it for anything else at all. And ordinarily the same with the pumpkins as well. Every now and again, I'll keep hold of some for some jack-o'-lanterns or something like that, but that really is it. And then the sugarcane farm, it's used for paper. That's really its only use. You make the paper up and you're either using it to make some rockets once you've got your lights so you can fly, or for me, majority of the time, I'm using it with the leather that we've picked up from the cow farm at the end there, so that I can do some more trading with villagers. But anyway, please let me know down in the comment section what your favourite farm is. It doesn't have to be one of these 6 on here, but just in general, what your favourite starter farm is. And for me, I'm going to leave it there for today. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.